Gamefreak gave us these 22 amazing Paradox Pokemon. And well, I want more. So why don't we turn some fan favorite Pokemon like these guys into these guys? Every Paradox Pokemon in this video was created by this amazing artist. Their links will be pinned in the first comment down below, so be sure to check them out as they are amazing at what they do. And with that, let's head into the past and check out some ancient Paradox Pokemon, starting with one of Johto's most beloved starter Pokemon, and that's Typhlosion. However, this version is on all fours. It's also said that this Paradox Pokemon is the embodiment of a raging volcano personified. So we gave it the fire and dark typing, representing the rage that this ancient beast holds within. It's also got flaming hot pins that protrude in and out of its back, hence the name Burning Pins, which makes this Pokemon an extremely offensive and defensive adversary. I wonder if you could cook s'mores on that thing. Now, for the attacks, I think the obvious Eruption move would make a ton of sense here, but I also think attacks like False Surrender and Lash Out make a ton of sense as well, so we'll give them that too. Now moving on to a Generation 3 Pokemon that is also a fan favorite that gets absolutely no love anymore, and that's Breloom. Meet Brute Cap. The naming for this Paradox Pokemon was playing off the Amoonguss Paradox being Brute Bonnet. Now, I'd imagine many of these grass mushroom Paradox mons to have names of various headpieces, so Brute Cap just made way too much sense. This Paradox mon is supposed to combine traits of a dinosaur and Breloom into one, which is why it's getting the Grass Dragon typing, though it's much larger than modern day Breloom. It does boast one of the highest attack stats of all the Paradox Pokemon, so that's something. Looks like its headpiece is a bit too heavy though, which is probably for the best because its speed and other stats are just average. As for attacks though, it would probably have access to the move Trailblaze to compensate for that lack in speed, and why not give it Dragon Dance? Man, I wouldn't want to run into this thing in a kitchen. Next up is one of the most notorious Pokemon that shiny hunters hate hunting for, and that's a Vespiquen. Mainly because getting a shiny male Combi is worse than scraping your knee on a Lego. But for this Pokemon, its Paradox version is known as Wild Empress, the bug fighting type. Now to compensate for the terrible typing that makes it ×4 weak towards flying types, we gave it an insane attack stat of 151. However, in order to be just as trolly as Gamefreak, we also decided to give it physical damaging moves that have a base power lower than 60. So Wild Empress knows moves like Fell Stinger, Twin Needle, Arm Thrust, and Vacuum Wave. This version loses all of Vespiquen's exclusive attack and defense order moves, and is said that this Paradox mon cares about one thing and one thing only, and that's having its blade, like arms, taste the victory of battle. All this thing knows is battling, and it's on a mission to prove that it's the best of the best. The Queen Bee, if you will. See what I did there? Now, for the last ancient Paradox mon, I decided to go with one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, and that's Scolipede, a Gen 5 Pokemon. For this Paradox mon, let's give it the great Tusk treatment. Meet Stomping Venom, the poison ground type. I personally like this typing because it's a reminiscent to the Nidos from Gen 1, and we all know how dominating they were. It's also got some insane looking stats, however its speed is almost non-existent. Looks like evolution definitely helped our boy out with some new legs. But for this version, it's got some great attack and defense as well as HP. This Paradox mon is known for stomping through forests and often leaves quakes in its path, causing massive land shifts. In fact, when a herd of them are stomping around, they can quite literally cause continents to shift, which is insane. As for moves, you already know we had to give this mon Earthquake, but also some nice utility moves like Dragon Dance to combat that lackluster speed. And with that, that's all 4 of the ancient Paradox Pokemon for this video. Next up is the 4 future forms, but before we get into those, do me a quick solid. If you're enjoying this type of content, leave a like and maybe consider subscribing. This metric helps me know that you guys want more content like this. And well, I got a bank full of these videos, but I need to know that you guys want them them first. So let's see if we can hit 420 likes on this video. Sounds good? Awesome. Now follow me into my time machine and away we go. Starting off with something Gamefreak has done before, and that's taking two Pokemon and fusing them together for a new concept like they did with Iron Valiant. So taking these two bug types fans have been asking Evos for literally a decade and fusing them together into Iron Crusher. Now it might be tempting to give every future Paradoxmon the Steel type, but Gamefreak doesn't do that, so neither will we. Instead, we're giving this guy the Bug Rock type, kinda like Cleavor, which is funny when you realize this guy is from the future and, well, Cleavor is from the past. Anyway, Iron Crusher, whose premise is that it crushes waste and materials in an effort to combat pollution, massive waste, and also the epidemic of plastics. Yeah, think about the turtles. But also, it was created as an effort to help destroy and crush terrifying weapons of not so great destruction. Yeah, it's a sad future, that's for sure. As for attacks, let's give it Rock Wrecker, Mega Horn, and an array of poison type moves as a nod to the fact that it deals with crushing waste particles on a day-to-day basis. Now, I don't know, I think this guy is pretty neat, and I would totally shiny hunt for this one in Area 0. Moving on to another Pokemon that has gotten no love in the past 25 years, and that's Jinx. I mean, its counterparts Scyther, Electabuzz, Magmar, and even Mr. Mime all got some sort of evolutions, and well, Scyther got a past evolution on top of that, so today we're giving this not-so-loved Pokemon some much-needed appreciation. Introducing Iron Echo, the Psychic Electric-type Paradox Pokemon. Now, I know what you're thinking, holy crap, that special attack is insane! And well, I really wanted to help our girl out with some much-needed upgrade. But first, what's the whole Iron Echo thing about? Well, in a future dystopian world where humans are almost non-existent, and in an effort to retain one of the qualities that mankind has endeared since the first recorded instance of society, Iron Echo was created to sing humanity's last song. All it even knows is singing, which means its moves should also reflect that, which makes Iron Echo an extremely rare and interesting specimen. You see, it only knows sound-based moves, which means its only stab moves would be Eerie Spell and Overdrive. However, it doesn't learn those two moves, and instead has the unique move pool of many different types of sound-based moves, but none giving it a stab bonus. A nice way to balance that insane special attack stat. But what do you think? Did we do right by Generation 1's Jinx, or do you think we could have done better? Next up is a mythical Paradoxmon, or maybe it's a legendary. Either way, here's a Paradoxmon based on Cresselia, and its name is Iron Orbit. Now, just as the name suggests, this giant satellite type Pokemon orbits the planet in the distant future, and its job is keeping communication systems in real time intact, as well as keeping an eye on not so distant interstellar activity. We don't need another Deoxys invasion now, do we? It's also a psychic flying type with pretty amazing stats, however this thing is beyond slow, which makes it one of the best Trick Room Pokemon, and yup, you guessed it, it does learn the move Trick Room. However, it also learns the move Tailwind, so you can really have your pick on how you want to control the speed in battles, which is a pretty unique way of creating a speed controlling Pokemon if I do say so myself. Now last but definitely not least, we have not one but two of the evolutions getting some love, and that's Umbreon and Jolteon with this Paradox version. Meet Iron Eclipse, the Dark Electric type Pokemon. Some say this isn't a fusion, but I'd say its stats beg to differ. It also brings a very interesting concept of potentially fusing many of the evolutions for other future Paradox Pokemon. But more on Iron Eclipse first. This Pokemon was created in an effort to mitigate the harmful effects of the sun. You see, in the future, the sun starts to spew a ton more harmful rays, and it becomes very, very harmful to most life on Earth. Now, this is where Iron Eclipse comes in and mitigates the damage by absorbing the rays while also creating a sort of eclipse that shields all life forms within a designated area. Many of these Iron Eclipses were dispatched around the world as an effort to combat this ever-growing change. Now, I'm no scientist, but sounds like the basis for a science fiction movie, so it kinda fits. As for attacks, this thing gets moves like Dark Void and Bolt Strike because, well, why the heck not? It's protecting the whole world, damn it. I think it'd be okay if we gave it some signature moves as well. It's not like these guys need them anymore. Thanks for watching, check out this video next, and see you soon. Bye.